Hello y'all, welcome to Mushroom Talks. Today we're going to be talking about the anatomy of a mushroom, just to give y'all a little introduction to mycology and to this channel. If you're already an expert in mycology, good for you. I have to go over this so that we're talking about the same thing in my other videos. First of all, what is a mushroom? It's a member of the kingdom fungi, and it's not a plant, nor is it an animal. It's a different type of organism that decomposes other matter and takes up its nutrients to live. They are extremely important to the natural order, and without mushrooms, we would probably be living in a bacterial nightmare. When we talk about mushrooms, we're typically talking about the fruiting body. This is the cap and the stem, which is also called the sporophore. This growth out of the ground, bark, or some other substance is just a small part of the mushroom life cycle, and its purpose is to spread spores when the proper conditions are met. Let's look at this drawing. We'll start from the top and go down from there. First up is the cap, or the pilus. The cap is the top of the mushroom that makes mushrooms easily recognizable. It can come in 9 different shapes. They are conical, like a cone, campanulate, like a bell shape, ovate, like a semicircle, flat, like a plate, infundibuliform, like a V, convex, like a flatter semicircle, depressed, like a bird bath, umbilicate, like an innie belly button, or umbinate, like an outie belly button. Aside from these 9 shapes, there are special kinds of mushrooms. Lion's mane is a tooth mushroom, and it literally looks like the mane of a lion or some shaggy hair. On the cap can be several different anatomical parts, like warts and scales. Scales on mushrooms serve the same function as scales on fish. They form a hardened carapace-like shell around the mushroom to protect the fruiting body until maturity. Warts can be the remains of a universal veil, which we'll talk about later. At the edge of the cap we have the margin. This is the rim where the cap and the gills meet. Underneath the cap are different structures. The underside of a mushroom cap is how mycologists and foragers tell the difference between edible and inedible fungi. There are 4 types of structures a mushroom can have on the underside of a cap. Gills, the easily recognizable mushroom structure, teeth, like stalactites, ridges, like a canyon, and pores, like a sponge. For the mushrooms that have gills, there may be 1 layer or 2 layers of said gills. Gills that run from the stem to the margin are called lamellae, and gills that don't run all the way across are called lamellulae. If you're using a mushroom identification book, you'll come across different types of gills for very similar species of fungi. In the gills, you have to identify shape, width, spacing, depth, color, and attachment of the gills to be certain which mushroom you found. Also, there are structured called forking gills, false gills, and true gills. Forking gills are gills that split in different directions from a single gill. False gills are ridges that appear to be gills, but are not easily detached from the mushroom's body. True gills can be taken off with ease, as long as you're careful. Mushrooms with pores have undersides that look like sponges. The holes on the underside run into the cap and hold the spores to be released at maturity. Sometimes, the holes are so small that the underside of the cap looks like pigskin. When searching for boletes, you have to be careful because many boletes are inedible. Polypores, like turkey tail, are usually edible and not poisonous. However, make sure you know exactly what you have before eating anything. Also in the gills are basidia, which are the holders and releasers of the spores. There can be different triggers for spore release depending on the type of mushroom. We'll go over these in a different video, as there are many different interesting processes mushrooms use to reproduce. Both inside the stalks and underground is something called hyphae. Hyphae are the structures that make up the mushroom above ground and the mycelium below ground. Most people talk about mycelium, so just know that the individual components of said mycelium are called hyphae. The hyphae are formed when a spore comes into contact with a substance it can use to develop. In mushroom farms, these are typically grains. These grains are used to provide the organism with energy to build more mycelium until they can colonize something more difficult, like straw or compost. There are many more complex aspects of mushroom structure that we haven't gone over, obviously, like more specific structures within some that we discussed, or how to differentiate different mushrooms visually, but we'll get to those eventually. Thank you for listening to this quick overview of mushroom anatomy. I've been your host, Jochen, and thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.